What's your name, your rank, and how long have you been in?
My name is Petty Officer Van Syok. I'm the rank of an E5 sonar technician, submarine second class, petty officer second class for short.
Okay.
I've been in the Navy 8 years, and I am currently a recruiter here in Clovis, California.
How do you like recruiting?
Recruiting, it's different. It's different from being out in the fleet. It's more independent duty to where it's more kind of self-paced. Kind of like you put in the work, you get what you put into it, obviously.
Okay. So then over as a recruiter, you know, like how enlistment numbers have been changing. Do you think based on standards being changed, the enlistment numbers are going up or down?
I think with all the standards being changed, it hasn't really affected the numbers. I have seen an uptick in high school seniors wanting to enlist or pursue whether it be Navy, Marines, Air Force, Army. It kind of, I guess we've seen an uptick in enlistments, more or less for the opportunities. I can't say the same about colleges, obviously, but I've seen a lot of people turning away from college and moving towards the armed forces.
Okay. And then do you think lowering standards physically can put sailors at risk?
So that question, it's a two-sided question, so it's kind of yes and kind of no at the same time. As everybody knows, you know, IQ, you can't really assume risk based off of that. However, you know, risk over reward kind of thing, I feel it does, but it doesn't at the same time. So it just varies from case by case basis.
And then in the past, I'd say 5 years, have you seen enlistment numbers go up or down?
I've seen enlistment numbers go up, i.e. because of COVID. COVID happened, 4 years ago? With COVID happening 4 years ago, obviously everything was in an isolated shutdown. So obviously numbers have gone up since then because more people are getting out and being proactive kind of thing. But I've also seen some pretty rough times where numbers are down, and a lot of it is due to people's political views, whether it be political parties that are in office, if they're waiting for political parties to come out of office, COVID pandemic, there was a lot of people that didn't want to get the COVID vaccination. It varies, again, case by case basis.
Okay. And then last question, do you think that changing military standards, like either lowering them or increasing them, affects retention rate?
So I think it does to an extent affect retention. The reason why I think it kind of affects it is because I guess more people were just taking their benefits and running with it.
Okay.
A lot of people, they have this persona like, hey, this is what I think the standards of the military need to be, but you know, they've really gone away from the old ways of the military, and they're starting to develop, becoming more, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess more modern.
Okay. And then again, lastly, do you enjoy being in the Navy?
Oh, I love being in the Navy. That wasn't even sarcasm. I love being in the Navy. I love my job. I'm originally from the area. I joined the Navy to get away from this area and actually experience something. Didn't want to work these menial jobs, didn't want to work out in the fields anymore. I was a swim coach at one point. I really wanted to explore opportunity, and I feel like the military, not necessarily the Navy, but the military in general, is the gateway to opportunity. Now, the only thing that's holding a lot of people back is, will they want to seize that opportunity? And that's the question you got to ask yourself.
Are you going to complete 20?
Oh yeah. This job's too easy not to. Honestly, it is way too easy not to. And if you can wrap your head around the fact that everything's pretty much paid for you, you're making pretty decent money. National average is 55,000 a year. I'm making 85 right now, so I'm making over the average. Ultimately, it's your decision, like what you want to do with your life.
Okay, thank you. Do you think over the past couple of years, recruitment numbers have gone up or down in the Air Force?
They've been going down due to a lot of standards that have increased. COVID did play a big part in those numbers. and we weren't forecasting any future retirements at that time.
Alrighty, and then do you think lowering military standards or like Air Force standards would put airmen out in the field at risk?
Possibly. The only reason is it does take a big mental health on a lot of these folks because they will have to sustain a lot of times being away from family, sustaining the elements in the weather, or just dealing with a lot of stress in a stressful condition, stressful environment.
Okay, and then how do you think that the Air Force appeals to prospective candidates?
The Air Force can appeal due to a lot of the benefits that a lot of the candidates can acquire. A lot of employment opportunities within the Air Force because they do hire from the branch for certain positions. As far as helping you out, there are benefits out there with the education side of it and making that notice and personnel aware of it. As far as the future of it, I see a lot of opportunity. I myself have taken advantage of these opportunities to get where I'm at right now.
And then do you think the Air Force should lower their standards to increase recruitment?
Depends on the type of lowering the standards that we're talking about. If it comes down to ASVAB scores or stuff that might pertain to getting certain billets, some people, aren't very well test takers. So depending on the type of standard lowering, it might not even be lowering the standards. It just might be a different translation as far as testing criteria. Somebody might test better mechanically, hands-on versus sitting there for 2-3 hours just taking a paper exam.
How about physical standards, if they were lowered?
Physical standards, depending on the billet. I'm not gonna have somebody apply for some very difficult taskers in a different career field like a comptroller or even MARSOC for Marines or Navy SEALs. Just not anybody's going to be able to withstand and take that. You have to have the ability and the endurance to take that type of training. I know I can't say for myself that I'd be able to do it. It's going to take a person who's very active in order to pass those skills. But also a lot of it does pertain to jobs too. There's folks out there that work computer skills and stuff like that. They might not need to get trained as much as a Navy SEAL or those Special Forces criteria. They're going to have to work on just getting their brains even stronger. So there's just different aspects of it.
And then do you think the Air Force over the years has increased or decreased their standards? And expectations as well.
As far as expectations, the Air Force has increased them. We do expect everybody to hold themselves accountable. As far as lowering the standards for physical, I know the Air Force has relaxed a little bit on the tattoo policy, the facial appearance policy with the haircuts and stuff like that, just so it opens up the spectrum of candidates that would want to join the military.
And then do you think the standards affect retention rate in the military?
The standards can affect some of the older folks in the military because it's change. Some of them might not be used to change, but it's an ever-changing climate and environment. So a lot of times we just got to go with the times, and you will have some folks that they're a little more old school and they might not feel that certain guidelines and certain haircuts should not be allowed in the military. But it's an ever-changing career field too, in the military versus civilian sectors too.
And then do you enjoy working for the Air Force in the military?
Yeah, I love working here. Been here for a long time. Have no regrets. Got a lot of experience. I have been in another branch too. Enjoyed my time there. Every opportunity I've had has been a learning experience, and I've definitely it has helped me become a better leader and a better person.
And would you endorse the Air Force as a prospective branch to candidates?
I would endorse any military branch as a prospective candidates, just because it's going to help them in their careers as far as any type of employment. It does help out with veterans preference. It does open up the doors for educational benefits. It's just a matter of that person and what they feel. The Marine Corps is one branch of service. They're land, air, and sea. The Air Force is a lot of air. The Navy is a lot of water, and the Army is a lot of ground. So just depends on that person and what perspective they want to look into. If I was to join the Navy and I wanted to become a frogman, I probably wouldn't do it because I'm not a swimmer. So it just depends on that person's desire and what they want to succeed in.
Alrighty, thank you.
Ooh.
Alright, can I get your name, rank, and how long you've been in?
Alan Martin, United States Air Force, Master Sergeant, 28 years.
Okay, and then I just have a few questions with you. So the first one is, do you see enlistment numbers changing depending on how lenient the Air Force has gotten?
Yes. Depending on what the career field is, I do see some kind of a change one way or another.
And then do you believe that lowering physical standards puts airmen at risk?
Definitely, especially if you're going into a high intensity career field like either the fire department or the bomb squad.
Okay. And do you believe it's puts airmen at risk if the ASVAB scores are lowered?
Yes, because no offense to people who may have just come in with just a GED, but you need to have a good head on your shoulders, especially in dangerous career fields, and lowering them just to increase numbers is not the way to do it.
In the past 20 to 30 years, have you seen enlistment numbers in the Air Force go up or down?
Both, up and down.
Okay. How do you think that is affected by the way standards have changed?
Well, I think the reason it went up is because of what happened in 9/11. That's when it was at its highest.
Mm-hmm.
The lowest I see now is right now when we left Afghanistan and we're leaving the Middle East, and now people just don't want to. There's no, like, they have no feeling of serving since there's nothing to go to.
And do you think that standards have a big impact on enlistment numbers?
Definitely. A lot of times what used to be, oh, okay, you can't go in because of, let's say, sleep apnea. Now, depending on where you go, it's a thing that is like just kind of, oh, okay, it's not affecting your job, just come on in.
Okay. And then do you think the Air Force standards allow for recruiters to endorse the branch more?
The problem is you need the recruiters to endorse the right way. A lot of times recruiters just feel it's a number saying, if I get people in, I fill holes. Problem is that you're filling holes with people that probably should not or cannot do the job.
Okay, and then do you think the Air Force should lower their standards?
I actually feel the Air Force should raise their standards.
Why is that?
Because, thus again, they lowered it already once to fill holes, and a lot of times they're getting people who are not willing or able to do the job.
Okay, and then do you enjoy working in the Air Force?
Yes, I do.
Would you endorse it to prospective candidates?
Oh, yeah. I'll try to get my son in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What does your son want to do?
I don't know. He wants to go to the Navy.
Oh, wow. Do you think the Navy has what he's looking for compared to the Air Force?
I don't know. Can he swim?